All right, we're here in the podcast studio in Andover, the 5000 building of Butler Community College Andover campus, and special guest today, Tom Nevill. First of all, the first time inside this new special room here. Also guest Bill Young, CIO at Butler, Matt Jacobs, director at BTV. I'm Tyler Nordman, creative director for BCTV. And Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, this room is awesome. Thank you guys for putting it together, Bill's team, and you guys, getting it kicked off over here.
So what kind of started? Where'd the idea come from to install a podcast room here in Andover and then the one that's being built currently in El Dorado?
Well, like all great ideas at Butler, it starts with Bill. No, but I think it's been a collaborative process. Whenever I came here, we talked about bringing the Adobe Creative Campus initiative to the college. We launched that last October. October of 2021. And so we're kind of a little bit over a year into that. And then now we're kind of scaling what we can use these digital tools, digital storytelling tools at the college as part of our strategic plan to really scale up digital literacy, digital fluency, digital agility across the college for our faculty, students, staff. Yeah.
This was a natural fit in this room. So when we did the big remodel in this building, we put a couple of these rooms in with the idea of in the future of creating maker spaces, and so the year of the podcast with Adobe Creative Cloud, our ability to bring more technology to the fingertips of students, staff, and faculty. This room was the perfect fit for it to start with audio, and then we're going to grow this into audio and video podcasting, vodcasting, I guess. So.
Yeah. So it's just great to have this kind of equipment and access for anybody that's on the campus. Even Matt can use it, maybe occasionally. We'll let him. Just to come in and create some content, whether that's a class project or just some personal podcast or whatever you want to use to tell your story, and I think that's really relevant these days and an exciting new addition, not only for podcasting but also esports and all the other awesome things that we're doing right now.
So this just kind of came to campus, obviously early here in the spring semester, but we were talking to some people walking through, and we've already seen faculty members and students in here utilizing this space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't really promoted it much, so it's great that it's just getting attention without, making it known. And I know you guys are working on that part of, the big reveal and hyping these resources that are available to our students and our staff and our faculty.
Yeah, so we're really fortunate to have at Butler a lot of active and creative faculty and staff. And so while we've been kind of piecing this together and making sure that, working the kinks out before we do the big reveal or the big ribbon cutting for this, we have had a lot of staff come in, a lot of faculty come in, whether they're doing podcasts for their classes or just doing personal podcasts. This is that creative space. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about Butler is we provide those outlets and those opportunities for students, staff, and faculty for creativity, curiosity, just to kind of check stuff out. And it's really to Dr. Neville's statement earlier, we're really feeding into the mission of the institution, this strategic goal that we have of really empowering digital fluency, digital agility, and creativity.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you were to make a personal podcast in this room, what is the topic?
Well, I've already got my podcast planned out. I named it. I branded it in Adobe. So I have it ready to go. The one thing that I'm lacking at this moment is the time to do it. So trying to figure out when I can commit to that. I think one helpful component is, we're building another podcast studio in the library in El Dorado, and that'll be a great opportunity since most of my time in my office is in El Dorado, so I can kind of jump, maybe just schedule out a block, and it's I think if I recall, it's been a while since I kind of landed on what I was going to do, but I think it was like five minutes with me and 5 questions in 10 minutes or something like that.
I thought it was going to be something to do with drums or
no, I don't.
Mexican beef.
I don't know if anybody wants to hear about that. I don't have a beef with Mexico.
No. that steak, that Mexican steak.
Oh, you mean
what was that?
Okay, you're talking about the topic.
I'm always talking about food because
Food.
I
You're
love
talking
food.
about
Food is my It's just my go-to. I'm sorry.
Food is Matt's love language.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And this is our first time here inside this studio here, but the ease, the simplicity of it, maybe Bill and Matt, you can touch to some of the technology in here, but you turn it on and you're ready to roll.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on that for Bill and everybody, because, we talked about that as we built this out, was we want something that's really easy to use, plug and play, with everybody. Everybody at the college has access to the Creative Cloud, so we have Adobe Audition, which is really, it's kind of a plug and play capture this audio, and then the editing part's probably a little bit more challenging. But I'll send that over to Bill to talk about why you chose this particular device and things like that.
Yeah, so we did our research in our information services division. We worked with Matt Jacobs and BCTV. We worked with Dr. West, who runs our radio station, and kind of settled on some equipment that was just that, right? Super simple to come in, easy to set up. Not high dollar, super expensive for the institution to invest in as we move along too. Right now, you can walk into the studio, turn the power on. It's plugged directly into the computer. You log into the computer, you log into your Adobe Audition, and it starts streaming.
And somebody like me, it comes in and just starts pushing buttons because, that's what I do. And, and you can make beats or whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, be careful with the buttons you push.
See?
So
you can make beats.
So it's lots of fun. It's a great... The podcasting mixing board that we're using is a Zoom PodTrack P8, and then the rest of the equipment's all Rode equipment. So it works well together. It's easy to use, and it's market standard, right? So most of these students, staff, or faculty, if they're wanting to find equipment at home or even in a small business to set up a podcast, this is the equipment they'll be using.
Yeah, because really it wasn't, relatively speaking, a huge dollar amount piece of equipment.
It's not cost
It's something
prohibitive.
that somebody could buy for their home, if this is something that they really want to do. 'Cause, you're kind of a hipster and you know what's going on in the digital world, but you can make money these days doing podcasting, right?
I think Bill should put one of these in his basement.
I
think everybody should have something that make beats in their basement. Yes.
I agree. I think I'm going to build one out. So we'll be doing podcasts in the basement with
Basement with Bill.
Basement in the basement. I don't know. That sounds like a horror movie, but we'll see how it goes.
I haven't seen your
You
basement.
could provide the actual beats. We don't need pre-recorded. We need you on the drums.
Well, see, that gets in that's a different contract.
So tell us a little bit about your musical background.
My musical background is strictly in percussion and everything that comes with that. So,
maybe for the listeners who don't know who Dr. Nevill is and a little bit of your background, maybe you could go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, tell us who I am.
How did you go from being in college as a student yourself, however long ago, to being the vice president of academics?
Well, it was a while ago. Almost as long as Bill Rinkenbaugh, but not quite. I started really. I always say my career path in education started when I was in 4th grade because that's when I got a drum set. It just happened. It was the angels sang and the clouds parted and the sun shone.
And what part of the country was this?
This was in scenic Springfield, Illinois.
Okay.
So born and raised there, grew up there. Went to a friend of my folks' house who had a drum set in his living room. Where every drum set should reside.
That's where it should be.
And you make beats in the basement, but you have a drum set in the living room. And, that was the day that it just happened. And, my mom was like, I was like, Mom, I gotta do this. So next day she signed me up for drum lessons, and every Saturday till, for as long as I can remember, she'd take me to my drum lesson on Saturday morning. So that kind of led to teaching lessons at the local music store, and then playing in bands and things like that in high school, and then as most of us in this room, we wanted to be rock stars. It didn't quite work out, so then I went to music school. What
was the best band name that you ever played with?
My favorite band name was original rock band that we had. You're thinking, you got to remember this is early '90s, Cactus Pie.
Cactus Pie.
Yes.
Pie.
That's a visual now.
It's the backstory behind that was my buddy who was the bass player. Both him and I worked at the Springfield Public Library, and he worked in nonfiction, and he was restocking a book that day, and it was a short book of short stories, and the title of the book was Cactus Pie. He came running over. I was over in the AV area where I was I had the cool job. I got to reshelf all the art and music books and that. And he's like, man, I found the best band name. I was like, yes, that's it. So it stuck, and that's how we became Cactus Pie.
So after a career in rock and roll,
Yes, short. It's pretty short.
did not pan out.
Yeah.
Then
Then I went to college. I went to Lincoln Land Community College, is right in Springfield, and studied music. And actually, I wanted to be an architect. And then somebody's like, "Oh, you can major in music." I'm like, "Really? That's pretty cool." So then I transferred to Eastern Illinois. You guys.
home of Tony Romo.
Tony
There you
Romo.
go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Tony Romo.
And Jimmy John.
Sean Payton, Jimmy Johns.
Jimmy John went
That's true. That's
Yeah.
birth of Jimmy Johns,
Yeah.
Charleston, Illinois.
Yeah.
I got my undergrad there in music education. Played marching band, did all that. Student taught up in the suburbs of Chicago at Glenbrook North High School, where you might remember the scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where he comes down the stairs and or the principal's at the stairs, she comes down and they kiss, and he's like, oh, that's kind of weird. Well, that is the auditorium of the Fine Arts Center at the high school. So
Oh, great.
That's where they filmed that. So it was pretty cool school. And then I auditioned for graduate school and got in to study my master's at UNLV in Las Vegas. So I got a master's in percussion performance.
So you'd never been out of Illinois. living.
Not to live.
Yes.
No. Yeah, no.
So all of a sudden you go from Illinois to
Yeah, Las Vegas. Yes.
All right.
And there's a university there.
There is. I've been there.
Yeah, and it's
They have a Thomas
now it's an
Maxim.
R1 university, but at the time, it wasn't. It was a great time. Had a really awesome experience there. Went to school with some amazing, talented folks that have gone to do great things. A lot of them gone into higher ed themselves. Some went on to become rock stars, and so it was really fun. And then as I was finishing my master's, they started a doctoral program, so I stayed on to do that. And then
And if I'm not mistaken, you played some music while you're out there. You're still playing.
I played. Yeah, of course. I played in bands. I was still, trying to be a rock star. And I played with the Las Vegas Philharmonic, and anybody. When you're in school, you'll play any gig that pays you. No matter what it pays, you will play it.
and if
I'll
you're the-
dress up as a bunny suit and play a drum if I had to.
Every gig that pays and a few that don't. Right.
I don't do those as much anymore, or back then, it was hungry back then. So then I left there mid doctoral program and got my first full-time university teaching job at the University of South Dakota, teaching percussion. So Vegas to South Dakota.
No cultural shock there.
It was a little rough. I think the first snow was 23 inches. And I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Welcome to South Dakota.
Then my daughter was born there, so it kind of made up for it. But it was a one-year position. So then I ended up there. I went to Albany State University in Albany, Georgia. I taught the drum line there, taught music classes. And then I went to Brownsville, Texas. And I was there for 10 years. I started the percussion program there.
At what school?
University of Texas, Brownsville.
Okay.
Which is now University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
Okay.
So they've merged with UT Pan American and became a new school. Then I was there for 10 years, became chair of the music department. Played, still performed as well as doing all that. Faculty recitals, symphony gigs, whatever I could, again, any gig I can get for money. And then I left Brownsville to be a dean. I went up to North Carolina at Guilford Tech Community College and became dean of business, creative, and performing arts. And then I went from there to Pima Community College in Tucson, and I was dean of arts and humanities there. And then I left there and I went to Austin, Texas, and I was dean of arts and digital media in Austin, Texas, and I know you guys just went there and toured that facility.
Beautiful facility.
It was awesome. It was a great time to be a part of the growth and supporting the teams there and what happened as a result of that. And then I was like, I thought I was maybe ready for this gig, and here I came up and interviewed and. I met Bill, and I was like, man, this dude's gonna make some stuff happen. I was like, I need to be a part of that energy and synergy, and so here I am. And no, I haven't played one gig since I've been in Kansas. So,
got to fix that.
yeah, I know, I just don't have.
So
time.
we're still waiting for you to put together a faculty band.
I've got some surprises in the works, so
Okay.
you know, I can't reveal everything. I have a personal NDA with what I'm going to be revealing here. Yeah, if everything works out here pretty soon.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it was really great. When you applied for the role and you came up, you interviewed with us. You talked about energy. You brought a lot of energy to the table. We've made a lot of progress in the last couple of years since you've been here. We've, like you said, the Adobe Creative Campus. We're bringing on these podcasting studios. We've built some gaming studios. We've really focused as an institution pretty heavily on differentiators and empowering our students in the digital world. And so you've been a huge advocate for that. As the Vice President of Technology, that's an area that I'm super passionate about, and so I feel like we made a really good team in a lot of ways to advance some of this stuff forward. And I'm appreciative of having you here in that area because it's really engaged faculty and our academic side in that.
Well, and let's don't leave out the laptop initiative too, because we can have all this great software, but if we don't have access for students, that changes the game for them as well.
For sure, you enroll and become a student at Butler Community College, and we've got a student laptop program that gets you right into a laptop that you can take home and keep and use for everything that you need to do. We're building Adobe Creative Stations throughout campus, so students can sit down and use those and really get some horsepower behind them.
And what are those? I think we need to tell folks exactly
we're putting top of the line creative workstations out for student use, placing them around campus. We've got everything from the Mac Ultra Studio, which is the top end Mac computer to be able to do Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator,
it's awesome for graphics, videos, those things.
Everything.
That machine really.
And then we have our HP Z workstations, which are top of the line gaming and graphics workstations. So those are placed around campus as Adobe Creative Stations, and again they're open use for any student who wants to come in, just dive in and create, and then they're able to save that out to their cloud and use it, add it to their portfolio, and it becomes part of their personal portfolio when they move away from here then eventually to be able to kind of market themselves.
Yeah, and we've also folded in faculty development in a big part of this because every month they do a brown bag kind of luncheon where one of our faculty experts in Adobe Photoshop or InDesign or one of those really high-end software, they're coming in for anybody that's interested. It's free. It's open to students. It's open to faculty. If you click on our Adobe Creative Cloud landing page, there's a drop-down menu that talks about what all of our professional development opportunities is at the college for the whole year. So we're trying to put out a full year ahead of time. Of course, partnering with Adobe and all the resources they have for any types of online training or interactions like that. A lot of those tutorials are already embedded in the software. I mean, I think Matt, you and I were working on a project one time and we wanted to put some music into it. And you just I think you put in the search engine. How do you grab a file and it was like boom, 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 and that was it. You never even had to leave the Adobe software to do that. So
yeah, it's made my job easier. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what's really unique was I think Butler was the 50th Adobe Creative Campus.
Yeah, we were in the world, first in Kansas.
Yep.
And I think they're up to like 60, 66 now. Actually, Bill and I are going next month.
Down
next month in March.
In March to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were the 50th worldwide, the first in Kansas, and still today the only Adobe Creative Campus in the state of Kansas. And so just to kind of make that pretty simple for our listeners, what the Adobe Creative Campus does for us, in addition to helping to evolve the way that we deliver sometimes from a staff and faculty perspective, deliver information. It empowers every one of our students, if they're enrolled here, to have the complete, full access to every tool that Adobe has, from Photoshop to Illustrator to
Premiere.
Premiere's a big one.
They've got full licensing for all that as a student, as well as the full subscription and license to Adobe Stock for photos, images, videos, and audio.
And we've embedded in Canvas, so students, when they're in Canvas doing their coursework, they don't even have to get out of Canvas to access the Adobe software. Mm-hmm. So you can work on a project, if you need to do some sort of presentation or some type of visual or any kind of digital creative asset, you can do it right there in Canvas. You don't have to leave right through Adobe. And so
Right.
I think that's those are types of things that as we're growing as a creative campus and really supporting that digital storytelling and that creativity, not only for students but faculty and staff. We have areas that are using Adobe to promote classes and pushing them out on social media. Adobe Sign is something else that we've started with, is our a digital workflow, so we can maybe reduce our paper consumption and paper trail. So that that's another great opportunity for us to think about an efficiency and thinking about the environment and the sustainability. And so there's a lot of really interesting and fun things and cool things and practical things that being a creative campus does for us. But it also, as Bill mentioned, it's a differentiator for us. So it makes us a unique institution in the state that says, if you want to come to Butler, or why you should come to Butler, is because we're providing opportunities for students that nobody else is doing for free. And that's a very expensive suite of software, and we're giving it to students for free. And I think it's a great opportunity for them. Everybody's communicating now. TikToks and YouTubes and whatever else. Tyler, you just had to hook me up on something the other day.
We figured out how to share Instagram stories to Facebook at the same time.
He's bringing me up to current standards here in social media land that I need a lot of help in. But thankfully we have you guys to help us old folks navigate those waters and connect with what we're doing with our students, our potential students, because that's where they're seeing what's happening at Butler. We're there's a lot of great things happening, and you guys are really boosting that content. So we're very thankful that you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Matt and Tyler with our Butler Creative Media and Technology Group, BCTV, there's a lot of different outlets that you guys are using. Podcasting long term is going to be one as well, but Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, our BCTV app, the creative content that you guys are putting out is kind of doing everything from promoting the college to informing the students to informing the community, and then building those community relationships and partnerships too. So to Dr. Neville's point, I mean it's a big boost, and it gives our students opportunities then to be involved through different mass communication tracks with you guys to be able to generate some of that content.
Right, because you guys have interns and you have scholarship students. I mean, you're bringing students to this party, and they're learning a ton from you guys on how to develop these skills that they're going to be able to carry on with them wherever they're going after their journey here.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we got a team of 13 student workers that help a lot on the live production side. We did 204 live broadcasts during the 22 school year. But then also on the creative side and post editing and video making and film creation, things like that they're getting a lot of experience in. And while they're here and working in Adobe Premiere Pro, which, they go get a job, that's the standard.
Well, yeah, I mean, you start looking at job postings, almost every company is asking for somebody that can help you promote their social media or whatever, whatever digital interaction, if they're a print publication or, InDesign will help them push something out. I mean, you guys upped the student magazine game pretty high this year by using some of those tools. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we totally Adobe created magazine, and it was really trying to implore upon my staff that we want to be dynamic, bright, colorful photos, solid content, really well-placed designs. So pretty proud of where that program is going. And we're looking for a full-time journalism instructor to bring in to, kind of continue to take that program to the next level. And, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty exciting time.
It is, and it's also really cool to we see students, faculty in nursing using the Creative Cloud. We see foreign language. I mean, it's growing in those areas that we were hoping that it wasn't just our digital media students or folks in journalism. Those traditional areas that you absolutely have to know the software because that's what's required in the industry. But
Right.
it's other areas of the college, and I think that's the exciting. I think Bill and I probably share that same thought, that's the exciting part, because that's the intent, was how many people can we get engaged in this, because these are tools that people can really use in the world, in the real world.
Yeah. So a lot of great things, happening in Butler Community College right now. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
It's a great
in particular,
team. Yeah.
in particular, right here inside this podcast studio
It's
in
a pretty
Andover.
cool studio.
It's awesome.
It's purple.
Yeah.
The chairs are purple.
Chairs are purple.
Comfortable.
Bill color coordinated the chairs.
Look, purple. I'm a fan of purple. I bleed purple. So
I thought there'd be a purple computer here, but
no.
Purple microphones. Yeah, but this is great. And it's going to be great to see how this morphs into how people are going to use
Right.
it.
Yeah.
What content is going to come out. What student stories. Where can we host. When students do projects, are we going to be able to access that? How are we going to help promote their work? And
We should
all
probably-
these great things. Yeah.
We should probably have like a podcast competition at the end of the year. We could be the judges.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we'll give the winning student, but that'd be kind of cool.
Well, I saw Mark Jarvis and Megan in here. They started some podcasting, and I know, Bill, you said there's been some students in here. So it's without people really knowing that's here yet, I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so the great thing about the location here, and it'll be similar in El Dorado, but the location here in Andover of our podcasting studio is that it sits right inside of our tech cafe in the student union. It's 10 feet away from our our IT support desk. So there's access here, right? If students or staff or faculty, whoever's using it, has questions or needs equipment or needs help, we've got the help built in for it. In El Dorado, we'll be in the library, so we've got a built-in support staff there in the library as well. Again, it's about putting the right technology in the right place in the right hands at the right time for the students to empower them to be successful.
Absolutely, and it was very, very well thought out. It wasn't just like, hey, let's just find a room and put a podcast. So it was like, we need to put a room where people are going to see it and people are going to be excited about it, and they're going to pass by and go, oh man, I should.
That's
go
cool. It looks awesome.
I should jump in there and do a podcast.
Yeah.
So now my expectation is, Matt, that you are going to come up with some guidelines for an end of the year podcast competition. So the expectation from the cabinet, from the vice president's side, will be that you guys will be presenting to us a proposal for an end of the year podcasting, a podcast competition. So
See,
this is why I try not to come up with ideas.
See, you invite Bill to a podcast, and next thing you know, you got more work to do.
It sounds like it's worthwhile.
Yeah,
this is why I have them doing what they do, because they're creative. They think with a creative mindset, and we find ways to get students involved.
Well, but we know creativity is one of those top 5 skills that employers are looking for. No matter what industry you're in, we look for creativity when we hire faculty. We look for creativity when our students are out, when they're out looking for jobs. Our employers, people in industry are looking for that. That hasn't gone away. Communication skills is not going to go away. Those vital skills that are transferable to no matter what you're doing. And creativity is certainly one of those.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, Dr. Nevill, thank you so much for joining us today and kind of kicking off the podcast season here at Butler. And
when are we going to do this again?
Whenever you get yours started, we're ready to jump on.
I'm going to need help.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And again, this podcast studio located in the 5000 building on the Andover campus, Butler Community College, and get in here. It's open. It's ready for use.
Awesome. Thank you guys.